Okay, what is going on, everybody? How is it going? Do not worry. Give me a break, man. Give me a Flake Man's channel. He will be here with me momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Akasan. I've been living in Japan for about 10 years right now. I'm kind of running the stream, but you'll get to know a little bit more about me in due time. I'm just going to quickly introduce everybody in here, one after another. Okay, first and foremost, the person you've been waiting for on the YouTube channel, it's Victor, y'all.
Hey guys,
Hello.
welcome. I'm wearing my USA shirt because it's the Olympics. You got to support your team, and got a strong zero because we're in Japan. That's me. You'll know me later if you don't know.
There you go. Okay, and then certainly the next person, very influential in my life, it's another godfather of J-vlogging, Hiko Simon.
Kia ora. Wow, influential. I am honored. It's great to be back.
Both you and Victor.
Hey man, excited about this. Great to be chatting again. Had a lot of fun last time. So yeah, kia ora. Good to see you.
There you go. Excellent. Okay, and then we're just gonna go. There's no particular order or rhyme or reason here anymore. These are just people that just joined in. Ronan Dave.
Hey.
Hi. How you doing?
Hey, I'm masked up to show that Tokyo is in a state of emergency as we go into the Olympics. Plus, I think there's important. A YouTube variant that you can catch Corona through streaming.
Fair enough. Okay, let's.
I
go
also
ahead.
have the SIB.
Oh yeah, I think that's what we. That's officially. Are we sponsor? Is Asahi sponsoring this stream? I think that's what happened. That's what's happening now.
Official beer of the Olympics.
And I don't like Asahi.
Moving on to the next person, Ninja Monkey Guy. Hello.
Hey, I'm the newbie. I'm Nathan. I live in Gibraltar. Am I the only one that's not in Japan right now?
But I think so. Yes.
Also,
but you have your Asahi. You have your Asahi here.
Yeah.
That works. Yeah. Hey, that works. Welcome to the stream, man. Definitely. Let's go for John. Very famous. An upcoming star, not you, Ninja Monkey, but you might be. But I'm talking about on TikTok, I believe. Why can't I unmute you? Okay.
Hi everyone.
Omani Lawson, unmute you. There you go.
Can you
What's
hear
up,
me?
man? Now you muted yourself, and I
think I double muted myself. Sorry.
It's okay, man. Well, you're very from what I've been told, you're very famous on TikTok now, right? You've been doing a lot of Japanese reactions, essentially, to Japanese programming. So
yeah, lots of laughing.
Okay, and yeah, I've seen that, and you're doing the typical hold your iPhone microphone up to your mouth like that. But no, it works right. It works really well, man. And so
it's my thing now.
So you're actually in Tokyo as well, right?
Yeah. So I've been here 6-7 years now.
Okay, great.
Repping the UK.
Okay. So we're all going to have time to introduce each other even more deeply, but I just want to get everybody introduced really quickly. Moving on to Zach. Hello.
Hey, what's up, guys? I don't have any alcohol, but I'm holding a bottle of water. Well, actually, you know what? I went to a place that is abrogating the rules of the state of emergency just earlier, and I got a beer there. So does that count?
There you go. I guess so, man. So where are you residing in, Zach?
So I'm in Tokyo as well, but I've been here for over 8 years now. Yeah.
All right, cool, man. And then last, currently on the stream, we're gonna go ahead and introduce. Oh wow, Afro Samurai. Afro in Japan. What's up, man? Can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah, I got you. I can hear you guys. Okay.
All right, this dude. So can you go ahead? Just a brief introduction.
Living in Japan for like 4 or 5 years now. Mostly do travel things and like started breaking into like random content on YouTube as well. But I heard there's other like Brits here. I'm from London. So yeah, we're gonna have a good old time. I'm also drinking Vampire Boys. We got this.
Everybody's hold on a second. Let's go ahead. Let's get everybody together real quick. Okay, there you go. There we go. All right. So This stream is brought to you in part by Asahi, apparently, or Suntory. So yeah, here we go. To the Olympics, kampai. Here you go. Hey.
Bye.
Oh, wait,
I
we
just
missed
grabbed my
that.
fridge to grab a beer. Here we go.
There you go. There you go.
Oh,
All right.
You need that. You need a screen. That's a screenshot. That's the thumbnail right there.
Is that the thumbnail? Okay, I think that's how we're gonna do it. Now, just a heads up, everybody, that we're gonna have people coming in and out and everything. So yeah, Avengers Assemble, right? Alcoholics assemble, more like it. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. And so yeah, we're gonna just try to get through this, and I thought this would be a good opportunity for everybody to just kind of say their piece. You know, we have a lot of people that are right here on ground zero, essentially, as the Olympics are about to start, officially kick off tomorrow. And I'm sure a lot of you, especially on Victor's channel, have just kind of heard a lot of stuff that's been going on over here in Japan. And you probably want to know, is it true? Is it not true? Are we really screwing up? Are we really in danger? You know, how can you have how can you have the Olympics during a state of emergency? So I thought this would be a really good time to just take this time to kind of clear up some of those questions you guys might have about it. And of course, also just get opinions from people that are essentially living in this situation right now. It's funny that Afro in Japan, just an hour ago, was doing an entire stream on traveling to Japan and what to do when you come to Japan. And the funny part for me was that I was like, why? Why are you doing a program on traveling in Japan when Japan is currently
you only live once
right now,
and
right?
you only die once?
So Victor, is there anything else that you wanted to say in terms of intro?
Well, let's do a quick. Well, first of all, you're right. It's crazy. It's 1,979 cases of new cases in Japan. Is that a record now?
In Tokyo, that's just in
Tokyo. Just Tokyo.
In Japan, it's like 5,500, but yeah, Tokyo is like nearly 2,000 today.
So we could hit 2,000 when the Olympics open.
That's the goal. 2020.
Come on, Tokyo! Come on!
You can do it.
Hit 2,000.
I'd like to ask you guys if you remember the first scandal that was associated. But first of all, before we go all negative, I want to point out. I want to point out what Hiko Simon said in one of his tweets, which is like he's going to try to focus on the positivity. And I think bears eating Olympic athletes is a positive thing, by the way. The possibility of a bear attack would be kind of cool. But does anyone? But we should go back in history a little bit and look at some of the original scandals. And do you remember the first scandal associated with these Olympics? What do you think
about this?
God,
where to start?
Logo. Right?
Remember the first one?
I thought the first one. Honestly, I thought it was the Fukushima Daiichi. The fact that I'll never forget. That was a very predominant image for me. Was the fact that Abe was running with a nuclear reactor type of thing with a Mario hat, and that was like a big protest image of like, how can you have the Olympics when you haven't even cleaned up the Tohoku area?
Right.
So that was my first scandal, so to speak. And then Hiko actually brought in his stream a few days ago, brought up something that I wasn't aware of, is the fact that the Japanese government put away a lot of money to rebuild the Tohoku area that was devastated by the earthquake for contractors. But once the Olympics were basically bought or were coming to Tokyo, a lot of these contractors left the Tohoku rebuilding projects and started building the Olympics stuff. So I wasn't aware of that.
Just on that. I mean, that was it. I mean, I think everyone in Japan, that was the second time that Tokyo had gone for it in a row. They had failed for 2016. And that was that was decided in 2009 before the Tohoku disaster. But after the Tohoku disaster, everyone's like, well, is this really the right time to be making a charge to have it come to Tokyo? And that was it. Everyone was afraid this might take away from the rebuilding. And it did. That was the thing. Or, it was more profitable for all the big construction companies to focus on the Olympic contracts rather than the rebuilding. That was the very first thing, was like, we sure do the Olympics sometime, but is this really the right time? And that was the inauspicious start. And it pretty much went, steadily downhill from that point.
Yeah,
I understand. Go ahead, Victor, because I know you really want to talk about all the scandals. So go ahead.
No, well, I just want to go back and look at it. I actually, that's a great point. I didn't even realize that there was a connection there. That's I guess it is. I guess it is a scandal connected to the Olympics, but I never thought about it. It's directly related to the Olympics. I was thinking more of like the slogan that was made originally. That's the first one I remember. The slogan came up, and then someone said it's a copy, and then they took it back, and then they started voting on the character that they're going to use, things like that. Minor stuff, not nuclear powered disasters. I was thinking on a small scale, but
it was, by the way, this happens every Olympics, but probably no one remembers this. But when the bid was being done, the Tokyo Olympic Committee paid like $3 million to like a French IOC official, a French IOC official's son, for consulting on how to win the Olympics. And they had no records of what they paid the person to actually do, other than just give advice. And they said, "Oh, this is totally normal, and we don't have any records left." But this is like in Salt Lake City, when they basically just bribed directly for the Olympics. So even at the time that they won the bid, there were the traditional Olympic corruption scandals that happened, and that still has not been resolved. But even that's almost, nobody remembers that now because it's gotten far more interesting since then. But yeah, it started out with the boring, regular, everyday, just normal corruption, and it's just sort of moved on from there.
And just today, what, the lead composer got fired because they found some nasty stuff that he said about the Holocaust. And so they
right. That was
like the lead composer of the opening ceremony got fired today.
No, the composer got fired for bullying someone and admitting.
Wait, no, there's another one.
That's right.
This wasn't there's different people that have been fired. There was one guy that bullied disabled people when he was younger. And the director, for making Holocaust jokes in 1998.
So the director of the opening ceremony was actually fired for making fun of the fat lady. I do appreciate how the Olympics have tried to equally abuse every single group. And they replaced him.
You're talking about the Watanabe Naomi Olympics?
Yeah, the Olympic thing. And that was
the Olympic. That was crazy, right?
I didn't think that was so bad, to be honest.
Well,
it's just a series of comic disasters.
That's why you are not the director of the Olympics.
It starts to make these people.
It just shows that we are in the dumbest timeline.
Well,
by far,
but it's also the most entertaining timeline, so I'm kind of half okay with it, like honestly.
Unless it kills you.
But look, it's hard to keep up with all the things, but yes. So they fired the Olympic person, they replaced him with a comedian from Ramen's, who I love. They're one of my favorite Japanese comedian troupes. And he took over the directing of the whole coordination, the whole plan for the whole opening ceremony. And that guy got fired today, the day before, because it turned out on NHK, it was broadcast on NHK in 1998. Nobody said anything until now. He was doing like an improv, like whose line is it anyway? And they did they threw in a little skit on, something about the Holocaust. And they immediately fired him. So the day before and they fired the person who did the opening theme song for the Olympics like 2 days ago. So I think they're going to be doing the Macarena and I don't know, hopping on one leg for the opening ceremony. That's pretty much all they can do now.
There you go. I found it. Okay, there. Yeah. So this guy.
Why did they vet this guy beforehand?
And see on the right there, scroll up again. It says on the right in the red, the guy in the red. That's the composer. That was the composer.
Right. This is
the other guy is the director.
Composer is one way of putting it. The other way is putting it that he's a disabled, sexual molesting bully. But yes,
who made his victims eat?
Shit.
Can I say? Oh, okay. Right. I didn't know if we were allowed to say that on this live stream.
And let's not forget about the Uzbekistan man who was arrested over alleged rape. Like this entire, if you look on the right side here, the entire thing, the sex bed, anti-sex beds, which was fake, by the way. But the sponsors that are pulling out. Of the opening ceremony, I'm not paying for this. So
we've had rape, cocaine, coup feeding bullies, and Holocaust comedians.
Today,
it's just
the cocaine thing. The guy was on the Australian show jumping team. You know, I mean, the fact that the Olympics have show jumping to begin with, but certainly, and that you get disqualified for cocaine. But then on top of that, I guess they would have noticed he was using cocaine because he probably was going around the course without the horse.
And winning.
That's funny.
And winning.
Winning
So
combination.
So I do. I mean, we could talk about scandals all day, but there's something I did want to just get into a little bit personally with you guys. Is like, just how are you feeling? How are you feeling about the situation? Were you even remotely interested in the Olympics even before Corona? Which is, I think, it's something important to keep in mind. And are you feeling excited about the Olympics starting tomorrow? For me personally, I didn't really care, but I do. The opening ceremony is kind of special to me.
Always fun.
Yeah, I always have a memory of the Beijing Olympics. That little girl that they was lip syncing. The other one was too ugly. The fake fireworks. You know, there's always going to be scandals.
007 and the Queen were great, though.
Yeah, you know. Brazil,
I think the Brits. Yeah. I think the Brits did an excellent
did a great
ceremony.
We tried our best.
We did our best.
Yeah, you had Eric Idle, always look on the bright side. Mr. Bean, Chariots of Fire.
Yeah.
007.
007 and the Queen.
Oh yeah, the Queen skydiving.
I mean, the Queen skydiving into the Olympic Stadium.
Yeah.
You know, if I was British, I'd be so proud of that.
I
cried.
Tears
came out.
Okay, so but you know, for me personally, it is kind of sad that I'll be at home alone tomorrow, probably watching the opening ceremony, because I've always enjoyed just going to a bar. You know, I've always I'm not a big fan of World Cup or soccer, but I love going to the bar and meeting with all the people and just having that kind of camaraderie for the games. I won't watch everything, but I'll watch some highlights. So it is kind of sad that this is the way it's going to end up. Do I think they should have canceled it? No. Do I think it needs to happen? Yes. Does it need to happen right now? Probably not, but I think this is the best we can get. That's my personal opinion on it. It's like it needed to happen one way or another. There was way too much investment in this, and it just I wish it could have been handled a lot better, and I wish that Japan went full force on the vaccinations ahead of time so that they could say, like, look, at least we did everything we could to make this happen. But instead, what I'm seeing instead is more like, oh wait, there's an outbreak right now. How did we not prepare for? You know, we never saw this coming. So that's
the opening ceremony. Like, we don't even know. Some countries haven't even. You know, some countries are only sending a flag bearer, and that's it.
Yep.
Correct.
So basically, it's going to be quite an interesting march with like 100 countries, 100 people. I don't know.
Sketch Flick, I got you in a second, but go ahead, guys. How are you guys feeling? Who wants to go first?
Sorry, Akasan. I was gonna say, are the bars open in Kanagawa? They're not in Tokyo.
I'm not into so I just found that out, I think through Hiko, where they were saying how Kanagawa and Chiba are now debating if they're going to also hold the state of emergency in their area, and I'm like, wait, what the hell? My bars are open?
Debating that for a week now.
Right. I'm like, wait a second. I could have drank all this time, but for me, it's not. It's honestly, it's not a big deal because I'm kind of a stay-at-home type of person, anyways, based on my type of work. So like, this doesn't really change much for me. I can save money now. I'm not pressured to go out and spend 2,000 yen on a pint of beer. I'm cool with all of this. I miss some little things, but I'm kind of cool with just staying home. So it doesn't change much for me. When I went to Okinawa, which is in a state of emergency, I found illegal places to drink. And, it's whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
Shinjuku. Half the stuff's open in Shinjuku.
Sure. Yeah.
So again, there are certain pubs are open regardless.
Yeah. Actually, Dave, this might be interesting to you. I went to the beach last weekend, and Enoshima has the beach huts open, and they're selling alcohol there.
Sweet, I'm there.
I'm going down again Saturday.
I went there today. It was crazy.
I bet. 4-day weekend.
Yeah, but I'm still I still want to avoid crowds because this Delta variant is nothing to mess with. Not to bring things down any more than they had, but I had a good friend of mine from back home died of COVID back in January.
Yeah, well, you succeeded.
So I'm a bit. Sorry, I'm just bringing it out, but I'm just saying.
No, it's
real.
It does suck. My mom's best friend from high school died from COVID.
Yeah,
I've had a coworker die.
But my friend was in his 40s, so you know.
Yeah,
that's brutal.
I think people are more interested in COVID than the Olympics, to be honest.
Because
I live in Europe.
Well, COVID's going to win the Olympics. Probably, Corona is going to get all the gold.
Ninja Monkey brings up a good question, which is what I actually want to ask all of you. Not just Akasan was asking all of us what we thought, but what about the people around us? Because nobody is interested in the Olympics anymore. But last year, all of my students were like, they're online trying to get tickets, and everyone's really excited about it. But now nobody gives a shit about it.
All right, so let's go down the list then. So we're Victor, go ahead. Just tell us
just to remind you all, I live in the boonies of Nagoya, which is like fourth largest city in Japan. But considered by many Tokyoites as the Inaka, right? And I work with a lot of teachers in other schools that I teach at my school, and all of them were so excited about the Olympics and telling me how they're going online. A lot of my students were into this, but now nobody cares. Nobody's. I've asked them again. So are you still interested? Nobody cares at all. Everyone is talking about the vaccine. Did you get it? That's the big question right now. Not the Olympics at all.
Yeah.
How about Hiko Simon?
What happens, I think, with every Olympics, every single Olympics. By the way, someone's echoing back at the moment.
Not me.
Sorry. Okay. Every Olympics, nobody really cares until it starts, and when it starts, people start to watch it, and then they get into it, and that's unquestionably going to happen. And that's true for me. At the moment, there's so much against the Olympics. Not just the fact it's inconvenient timing, but of course this almost comedy sketch of daily scandals. And I think some people that's become its own separate sort of festival. And of course the overall thing, which I think as well, up to a couple of months ago, I think it was the common sense thing that they had to cancel it and they shouldn't have gone ahead. But now they go ahead with it. Sure, I'm going to look forward to it. I actually really appreciate all the work. People don't think very much about all the work that the volunteers and that the organization puts in and the athletes. So I think it's time to start appreciating all of that effort and sort of switching over from just ragging on everything. But it's fun ragging on everything. But I think people are not thinking about it much, but they will start to think about it. I mean, soon it's going to start taking over the news cycle. And I think when it does, people are going to turn around. But I think the anticipation and excitement you normally have clearly hasn't been there. And everyone, I don't know a single person who speaks positively about it. I think that's about to change. But as of today, I'm the only person I know actually who's trying to be positive about it. But I'm
I was surprised by your tweet.
No, but I also, and sorry to, I'm gonna add on to Hiko Simon's point because he mentioned something. If you guys don't know, make sure you check out Hiko Simon's. Is it called Japan Daily or Japan Today?
Tokyo Tonight. Tokyo Tonight.
You. Tokyo Tonight every week, right?
Every Sunday, 10 p.m.
Okay, every Sunday. Make sure you check it out because if you really want to get news straight from the source in some ways, Hiko Simon is really good at that. And I listen to it almost every week because I have nothing else to do. But one of the very important things that I think he pointed out was the fact about the volunteers, that there are people that are in it that are trying to put on their best. The people that are suffering the most out of all of this are the athletes and the volunteers, because these people are just doing it for the right reasons. And yes, there is the whole money situation in business, people making money on the side. But there's also something else to keep in mind that Hiko mentioned that I thought was very important, and it made me really rethink a lot of this, is the fact that there's always going to be a section of people that are going to hate on something. And Twitter, especially because of in this day and age, Twitter has become the new news informant, the new newspaper. We don't read newspapers anymore. We barely watch TV anymore. Twitter is that world. And unfortunately, Twitter is essentially the epicenter for negativity. If it's not news unless it's negative, unless it's a scandal like that. So in your mind, you start thinking like everything is terrible about the Olympics, and it might feel that way, but there are a lot of good things that are going on as well, and it's important not to lose track of that. Is that there's always going to be a group of people until the day it starts, and while it's going, that are going to want to protest the Olympics, that are want to cancel the Olympics, and then after the Olympics are done, they're going to say, "See, we shouldn't have done it." But that's kind of it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
That happens with everything. That happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Twitter's like that for everything. Yeah.
So
Ben
it's not
Affleck's
just
gonna be a bad Batman.
It's always going to be like that. Every Olympics has had its share of controversy. Okay, Hiko, anything else, or were you good?
Well, I could talk all night, as you know, but I'll leave it there for now and let everyone else share their view. But yeah, I'm focusing on switching to being positive. Although but then I said, you know what? I said I'm going to be positive, and then someone got fired for making jokes about the Holocaust. So what am I supposed to do, honestly? But yes, I'm trying.
I'm adding in just a brief moment before we move on to the next comment. Tony,
hello.
Long time, yeah.
Hey,
so you actually worked on the Olympics. Is
yes, actually. Yeah, I've been working on the Olympics for, I guess, technically 2 years now. I'm a director and producer here as well. So, I was working for the Discovery Channel that was connected to, the Olympics itself. So I've been working with the IOC the whole time. So it's been really interesting watching the whole, how things have spiraled out of control since then. So, no, but it's weird because like I was supposed to be actually shooting for this because usually I'm a director, but I was just like, hey, it's the Olympics. I'm excited. I want to check this out. You know, it's like a boyhood dream, like Akasan was saying earlier about like how, you know, it's once every 4 years. Like I know most younger people don't have that kind of connection to it, but when you're a kid, like you had like 4 channels. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, every 4 years, you have like all these crazy sports you've never seen before. So it's
LA Olympics was my childhood.
Exactly.
Yeah, I will never forget the Vancouver Olympics. Well, never mind. I digress. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Sketch with Tony. I love your voice, man. You got a great voice.
You got a beautiful voice.
God bless you. Who wants some money? Who wants some money? Hold on. Let me see what I got.
So wait. So Tony, do you know
have any Asahi, by the way?
Interesting things behind?
Yeah, tell us some interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Only Tony knows stories.
Okay, so not only was I going to work on the Olympics itself, I was actually tapped to produce some small like shows that go along with the Olympics. So things that would be shown on the Discovery Channel and on the Olympic Channel itself. So one of the shows I worked on was Sports Swap, where we took 2 different people from 2 different sports. So my personal favorite was I took someone from that did modern pentathlon, you know, the one with the horse and the shooting and all that stuff. And I mixed that with artistic swimming. So I had like this really like, you know, sportsman guy doing like rhythmic dancing in water and all that stuff. It was really fun. So I got to work in tandem with a lot of Olympians through this whole thing. So everything was all setting up perfect. You know, like we had like gold medalists. We had a lot of medalists that we were working with. And then we started getting word that, you know, there's this COVID thing happening, you know? So we're like, oh, all right, that's fine. And then all of a sudden, hey, we might have some issues. So how soon can you get this done? So I was like, all right, well, let's see what we can do. So we squished it all down. And then we started the production. And then it got a little bit closer. Then it was about like February. And they're like, okay, shit is shutting down. We have 5 episodes scheduled. How many can you get done? Because all of a sudden, athletes were dropping out because they're scared. You know what I mean? So like we lost our gymnasts. We lost all but we didn't know what was happening. You know what I mean? So, but my priority was like, okay, how can we get this done? I got to pay my crew because who knows how long we have until things go sideways. You know what I mean? Because, you know, it looked like the apocalypse at the time. So we start getting crazy requests for it. The funniest part is, I'll just say this, is like, how can we have people wrestle without touching each other? Right?
Get married.
Right? So as like a director,
it'd be like Madonna's Vogue wrestling.
Yes. Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like some of the requests were crazy. So you know, it's like, okay, like we got to workshop this. We got to think, how are we going to make this happen? How are we going to make this happen? I'm thinking my crew's got to eat. How are we going to make this happen? How are we going to make this happen? And let's just say we didn't do wrestling. So no, but ridiculous requests and all that stuff. But I don't know. Like I said earlier, I really wanted to do this. It wasn't so much about just being a cameraman for it, because I could do something else, but I just wanted to be there. I wanted to experience this. But now, knowing everything as a whole, I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this. You know, I don't know. Sorry, I kind of rambled on. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So would you say, Tony, are you still are you excited for it? Or like, are you just in a mixed spot right now?
I'm in a mixed spot. I'm still excited, but I don't want it to happen right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like over it because, like, look, I've been locked in my apartment for like the last 2 years almost now, working on Olympic stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm done with Olympics. But the boy in me, you know, I'm like, man, I want to see people throw shit. You know, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's where I'm at. So yeah, it's weird.
I honestly feel a lot of us. I mean, I'd love to meet up with all of you guys again in about a month, because I guess, I mean, Paralympics, it's still part of it, but when it's all said and done, I'd love to see what your guys' take is on all of this after, because I really feel like tomorrow, once that opening ceremony happens, and I don't know who's doing the US version, but for me, again, like I said,
NBC.
Hearing
NBC.
I mean, what I was gonna say is if it's Bob Costas or not, because hearing Bob Costas's voice for the Vancouver one, the Beijing one, for me, that's very memorable. I don't want to watch the Japanese one, honestly, but because I feel like it's only just I feel that the American one tells a nice story of each country very well, and it works really well within the programming, where I can imagine a Japanese one, it was like, it's going to be like, it's not going to have that same feeling, you know?
100%.
And I know Zach is...
you watched the 2016 opening ceremony?
Which one was that, Beijing?
Beijing.
Yeah, no, that was Rio.
Rio, yes, that's right.
I don't remember a little bit.
Is that Abe dressed up like Mario, right?
That was the closing ceremony. The opening ceremony, they had all the people from The View, the breakfast TV show in America. They had all those people do the opening ceremony, and it was cringe. Like all the, it was basically like that really drunk, what's her name, Hoda, I think her name is. She got really drunk before the show and was like, just making fun of every country or saying bad shit about every country. It was really, really bad. So
I remember this.
Yeah. I think this year though, they got Mike Tirico, who does IndyCar now. And NFL
so
stuff.
maybe it'd be if anybody's in the Kanagawa area, you guys are more than welcome to come by with my reacting lights, so it'll react to what's on TV and everything like that, because I'll just be here alone watching it. So
I actually would take
you make it sound so sad.
I know.
I'll be alone watching
live stream it, but
women, are you paying attention?
No.
You were pretty excited.
We know that, bull.
So Zach, I know you're pressed on time here, so I wanted to just get your opinion on.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling, especially as somebody who has actually gone back to America once, right?
3 times actually.
So in
3 times during the corona.
Right, in this pandemic, you've gone back.
You're vaccinated, right?
Did you get vaccinated?
I'm fully
vaccinated. You got vaccinated in the States? In the States,
I'm really glad I went. I'm really glad I went back home, and I went back at the end of May to get my shot. And I also went to my cousin's wedding, and I also went to the Indianapolis 500.
So how are you feeling? So what's your opinion on all of this then? How are you feeling as somebody that
MAGA hat?
Hey, I didn't vote for him either time. Okay, I'm just saying. No. All right. So my opinion is like I'm actually just I don't know. I really wish they postponed it to like October, like what they did in 1964, because I honestly think if they were hard pressed to doing it,
that's Americans. That's Americans. Why it's in
no,
July,
not just
August.
Specifically NBC. And I know that because I was actually interviewed by one of the guys who's here right now from NBC, and he told me he's gonna bring me to the Olympic Village to interview me again later. Oh yeah, Aaron, FC Cincinnati, right? So yeah, but yeah, so like for me, I had a lot of like just like Tony. I mean, I was working on a couple projects. They were a lot smaller in scale though, but when COVID hit, those projects went straight out the window, and I was just like, God damn it. So I don't know. I really think that they're bum rushing it, and it just I really don't know what they're trying to do. I mean, I feel like it's both an ego trip. The government's also, got their head in they got their head in the sand. Like I specifically remember Suga saying, "Why do young people want to drink alcohol right now? I don't get it." I'm just like, bro, are you kidding? Because Suga's a teacher.
It's so depressing. What else is there to do?
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I need to get some drinks. I need to get some drinks.
I'm going to the whiskey now.
So Zach, what is your plan then for the Olympics? Are you going to check out are you going to watch the opening ceremony? Are you going to support it?
Well, like tomorrow I'm going to be in Yokosuka for a little bit. I'm going to be at the base with one of my friends. So I don't know when I'll be able to watch the ceremony. If I am, I mean, I might just watch the highlights on YouTube if that's what I have to do. But I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, I'm not really interested in it this much this year. I mean, I might watch. Yeah, Lizzie just says it does seem like a bum rush. So
yeah,
I mean, I'll probably watch soccer.
Watch a little.
I might watch basketball, but I don't know. I'll watch soccer for sure.
All right, so you're essentially kind of undecided for the most part.
Yeah.
There's no strong feeling for you guys for you to watch it.
Ambivalent.
Right.
There you go.
Right. I mean,
I'm gonna watch.
Go ahead.
I think I'll be excited as soon as it finally starts. But
Exactly.
yeah.
Watching them get to the point of starting has been just embarrassing. Like, oh god, really?
It's almost funny.
Yeah.
Afro, you're shaking your head here. Are you not excited?
No, I do not like the Olympics.
Okay, tell me why.
I don't blame
I've never liked the Olympics. When I was in London, for example, I watched the opening ceremonies, as you were saying before. Like, I find the opening ceremonies very entertaining, and if the atmosphere is good, you're in a bar, you're in a good location,
right.
maybe I'll watch a game or two just for the atmosphere. But like sitting at home watching, I don't care. Like I
agree.
care. Oh, America's the best at throwing one. But Japan's the best at the other one. That's the thing. I don't care. Who gives a shit? Like I can't bring myself to care. It always feels very like nationalistic as well, and I hate that element to it. Like,
okay,
is it because England sucks at the Olympics?
Yeah.
Like no.
Coming down the Union Jack. Jeez.
Hey, Afro in Japan. Afro in Japan.
Queen in country, man. Queen in country.
I don't want to give him the wrong impression. I'm really not nationalistic at all.
I know.
I'm just
he says with an American flag on his t-shirt.
No, that's just for the show, man. That's just for the show.
Come on, Lawson. Jump in there.
Yeah.
It's very much
we can outnumber them. There's only a few of the Americans.
We have the G.
Yeah, but you outclass us. Outclass us. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, as an American, that's what I've heard my entire life is like, nobody cares about the Summer Olympics until Michael Phelps came around. The only one that Americans really cared about were the Winter Olympics because that's where we were actually good with something.
Yeah.
So,
gymnastics.
Yeah.
Well, I do enjoy the gymnastics.
Yeah, Mary Lou Retton was
basketball, but it was kind of like,
she was on Wheaties for a while.
True.
So was Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, that's true. That's a true point.
Oh God,
I did not dead name him. I don't even know how to say that, but anyway,
I
We got a great comment right there. Maddie says this is more productive than the meetings in the UN. So
I love that Oshima Yuko thumbnail here. So if anybody else wants to say anything really quick about how they're feeling, I was going to move on to the next thing, but go ahead, Ronan.
I was just going to say I was back when it was first announced. I was for the Olympics, somewhat. I just thought because of the history of 1964, it had such a huge impact on Japan. I mean, we have a national holiday for it, Sports Day in October. Sorry, what's going on?
Hi.
Hey.
What's up, Godzilla? What's up, man?
Hey, Spider-Man.
Hi. Okay.
You're on YouTube right now.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I was saying, so originally I was okay for it. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? But with the COVID thing, and it keeps becoming a disaster and a disaster and a disaster. I'm very ambivalent. But I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, negative Nilly, a wanker Willie. You know, who knows? This might bring the world together. This might bring the world together, you know, in this international thing, if half of the athletes don't come down with COVID.
Yeah, that's
true.
So I'm going to reserve judgment until it's done. I still think it would have been better if they just postponed it to next year.
To last year.
Yeah. Get Doctor Who, and we go back.
Intentions are coming out now.
It will have been a great Olympics.
Well, they postponed Coachella twice, so surely they can postpone the
Olympics. Exactly.
Follow the money, basically.
I agree.
I was going to say that one of the things that I'm really looking forward to is breaking records.
There'll be records.
It's the only thing that I'm interested in when it comes to the Olympics. It's basically people breaking records, and apparently these Olympics are going to be like the biggest, the most amount of records broken in history.
Yeah. The vapor flies.
For infections.
Because there's going to be so many athletes that have basically done nothing all year other than train. Yeah. And basically they're going to come to the Olympics and they're going to break all sorts of records, plus all the new technology and clothing and trainers and sneakers, or whatever you call it in the States.
Yes, Hiko.
You know what? You make an excellent point.
That is something that I'm definitely excited in. And I also think that like all Olympics, it always start very dull. People are never interested in the Olympics. And then as they, sort of get going, people start like really getting into the Olympics. And most people only follow 4 sports.
Yep.
Like, who watches more than 4 sports in the Olympics? Seriously.
Hey, but on the records, you also I forgot. Remember, they've banned sex, right? They've got the cardboard beds. They've told everyone not to use the 150,000 condoms. So they're
how
going to
can
be
you ban it though? How do they ban it? Do they police it?
But I'm just saying, if they follow the rules, I'm pretty sure every record in the Olympics is about to be broken.
Very Japanese Olympics with the rules, right?
Oh God.
So I was interviewed earlier this morning from the Los Angeles Times about the Olympics, and they wanted to give my opinions on diversity and the what's going on right now. So I'm gonna ask you guys kind of the general question of what they wanted to know, because I think it'd actually be good for people to know. All of us, for the most part, the majority of us live in Japan. Most of us actually live in Tokyo. Do you feel that Japan organizations and the government, whatever, with the acquirement of the Olympics that were supposed to be in 2020, from the time that they actually got the Olympics to today, with the Olympics starting tomorrow, do you feel like Japan has made a very strong effort to make Tokyo a friendly, international, open-armed type place, to make Tokyo a very easy to go and foreigner-friendly place?
That is a loaded question right there, sir. That is a loaded question. Oh my God!
I might just mute myself.
Hold up. Who wants this? Who wants this?
I'm not touching this one.
Oh my god!
I think Tony should go first with that voice. You can say anything.
I know the answer.
Oh my god!
Let's hear from Tony.
Okay, I'll say this. I'll just say this. It's like fruit, right? On the surface, it looks very presentable, whatnot.
Yes.
But the core is rotten. But they are trying. They are trying. But I mean, I've seen some of these meetings where they're like, they're trying to do more, trying to make it more integrated and whatnot. But most of these cats have no idea how to do that properly. You know what I mean? So they're working at a disadvantage. They know that they're supposed to be doing more inclusivity things and whatnot, but they don't. Most of these people don't have enough experience doing it, so it comes off ham-handed and awkward and weird. But hey, it's better than nothing. But they got a long way to go.
Right. I mean, just recently they had the signs, you know, the hotel
right,
the elevator signs. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because we could talk about
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could spend a whole hour talking about that. And if you really want to know all the details about that, definitely check out Hiko Simon's streams every Sunday, his previous ones, because he goes into it in really big details about racist hotels, segregating foreigners, the airport bubble, all of that. But I guess it's easy to talk about the negative stuff, but have you guys seen things about inclusivity? Have you seen some good stuff?
It's mainly for travel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to get people to the Inaka or whatever, trying to sell local goods and whatnot. I see effort in that respect, but that's it. I'm sorry.
Really?
They released the JR pass to people living in Japan for the first time. That was pretty
I thought that was
huge.
I think that was more about the fact that nobody's riding the trains right now. So it's like, I'll take it.
There's a very good picture on my Instagram of me like sitting in like 20 different seats of the Shinkansen. It's all like merged together because like there was no one there. Like no one. We went up to Tohoku with me and my friend, and like every foreigner we found up in Tohoku, we were like, let's talk to them. So we're like, hey, what are you doing here in like the middle of Aomori? They're like, oh, the JR pass was on sale. So just everyone, we were like 20, 25 people, everyone same thing. What are you doing in this crazy Naka area? What are you doing in Akita? Oh, the pass was like $100. That was pretty good. I hope they continue that. Like
they will, because until Japan opens it back up to those outside foreigners, we're the only foreigners they got. So
Can I ask a really quick question? So heavily on tourism dollars, it's unreal.
Go ahead, Tony.
Can I ask a really quick question? Like, since I've not had this many people that expats here in the same vicinity, but quick question, secretly though, are you enjoying not having that many people from overseas right now?
I am, yeah. I really am.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But actually, let me add. That's kind of that's a double-sided situation because I just came back from Okinawa, and it's interesting because it's like I enjoy the fact that it's empty, but at the same time, it's really sad and it's like it's a ghost town, and you can see half the stores are closed. If not all of them, you can kind of see a bit of sadness and kind of desperation on a lot of the vendors of their faces. Like they're not really in it. They're not really that happy. They're open, but they know that they're only making like $50 today, possibly, like that. So I think that it's kind of a double-sided thing. And, I work in the epicenter of Tokyo, which is, Shibuya. And I love the fact that it's so empty on the train, but it's also really sad because it looks like I Am Legend out there.
Legend.
It's really a double-sided situation because I love the fact that things are cheaper and travel is cheaper, but nothing's even open right now. So
good point. Very good point.
I went to Himakajima, which is an island here and where a lot of tourists go, and it was completely dead and empty. And it was a little bit sad, yeah. I mean, a lot of the double-sided, the double-edged sword you were talking about is the fact that a lot of the stores are closed. So there's things to do actually. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's nice to go to Legoland when you're like you don't have to wait for anything. Just fly through. When I got these two kids, just there's nothing to do. So
But coming back to the point on it being opening up to foreigners and stuff like that, I don't think it's just by the Olympics, but it's true. In 2002, Koizumi said at the time there were like 200,000 foreign tourists come to Japan every year, or some ridiculous number like that. And he said we're going to get like 1 million foreign tourists, and everyone thought it was ridiculous. But they really succeeded in making Japan accessible for people from overseas. And, the fact that so many people came here, particularly after 2010, shows that. And we were up to 30 million people per year right before the pandemic. And they thought with the Olympics, it might even get to 50 or 60 million tourists. So that, in a way, I think people might not realize that the situation right now where there are no tourists coming is sort of what it was back in 2000. We've sort of gone back to that a little bit where it was exclusive. And when you'd say you're in Japan, people would say, why are you living in Japan? But now it's like, now everyone says, oh, it's awesome, you're in Japan. So that reflects, I think, that Japan's been successful at opening itself up to foreigners coming. And I think that the Olympics thing was just piling on top of that success. But, I don't know how much you could say that inclusivity hasn't been improved by necessarily.
Hiko, what year was that when he said that? 2002?
2002 was when he set the targets for tourism. And I thought it was a joke.
I just looked it up, and in 2018, Japan had 31 million tourists.
I mean, it's unthinkable.
Wow,
that's crazy. That's amazing.
A crazy amount.
Wow. There was no
and imagine that just stopping tomorrow.
Last year.
Yeah.
We're introducing
Pickles.
Pickles the Gaijin into the chat real quick.
Yeah,
best name.
Ex-Nagoyan, now a Tokyoite.
Are you in Tokyo now?
Chiba.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough. How are you feeling about the Olympics, man? Like, what's your opinion, your take on this? Because, if anything, they're probably going to confuse you for a runaway athlete than they would me.
Maybe a bobsledder.
To be honest, I basically came to Japan with the idea that eventually there will be Olympics here, and I said yes, I'm going to get to go, and I'm going to get to meet the athletes because I'm like I'm not the big. I'm like very well known in the Jamaican community here, and I was working with the embassy, and I was like, yes, this is my chance to meet these athletes and get some new content and get these athletes doing some crazy Japanese crap. And I was like, yes, amazing. And then this Corona thing came up like 2 years ago. And I was like, oh no, it's really fine. We had there was a Zika virus that was supposed to take over the whole world, and that was garbage. So I was like, yeah, we're good. Japan is awesome. We don't let anything happen here. We're the best in the world at everything. Superior.
1 year later.
2 years later, we're dead we're pretty much like, yo. It was weird though, because the whole Corona thing, outsiders were saying, oh, Japan is doing so well, but all the foreigners in Japan were like, what are you guys talking about? You guys know that we're hiding. I could tell they were suppressing stuff. They weren't reporting everything. I had friends that were friends of friends that told me, hey, there's no space in the hospitals. There's this, they're not taking any foreigners to test. I'm like, what? What's going on? So when people are saying, oh, Japan is so exemplary in how they've treated the coronavirus and stemmed the flow, I'm like, really? All right. Okay.
Are you excited for the Olympics?
Oh, I'm always excited. I'm a big track and field fan. I'm from Jamaica, of course, the sprint fracture of the world.
That's
so the girls are, it's gonna be light work in the 100 meters, light work for the women in the 100 meters. 1, 2, 3, buddy. You can book it right now. 1, 2, 3.
That's right. Represent.
Or 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, whatever. We'll be winning though. That's definite. You know what I mean? I can't watch because I have work. I still work with my company, so we don't have, the AKI life. You don't get holidays like the ALTs, right. So we just work right through. So yeah, that's the only thing. But I'm just hoping that. Yeah, I work with kids only.
Has that really raised your concern for catching coronavirus? Because kids are one of the biggest carriers,
right?
Mostly over the age of 10, but yeah.
Well, I teach from 2 years old up to high school, so I get the full exposure. But to be honest, guys, I've been just very careful. I've been washing my hands more than usual. I've been, trying to stay away from the wearing mask and stuff like that, and just not trying to be stupid, basically.
Opposite of what I'm doing.
The vaccine.
Trying. I mean, I live in the boonies. I live in Kisarazu. I haven't gotten a letter or notice for this vaccine.
Yeah, that's automatic social distancing.
We already have social distancing here in Kisarazu.
Right, exactly.
I'm
That's
fine.
automatic.
My trains are never packed. I'm good. I'm just like, all you guys.
Chiba is social distancing city right there.
Real
quick, we're gonna let Zach say goodbye real quick because he's
I gotta split. Thank you guys for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And it's good to talk to a lot of you guys. I haven't seen most of you guys.
This is awesome.
I mean,
that's one of the good things about Corona. We don't have to meet in person anymore.
A lot less fights.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's definitely Victor for you. That is Victor.
Can I get some of the where do you find him at? Where do you find you at? I gotta write out his name.
Go ahead. Make sure you, Zach, if you can, just go ahead and drop your link in the
yes, please.
Chat. That'd be great. So
I'll add everyone's connections into the description.
Most of my stuff is Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube is all /PHX787, and my Twitch is just twitch.tv/Phoenix77, the full name.
Right, but more importantly, your Tinder profile.
Grindr. Come on now, yeah.
You might be on Grindr. You don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You got
either way,
Tinder and Twink, and he got Twinder. Yeah, so
Twinder.
Jesus
Christ.
All right, Zach,
I've been hitting this wine.
Take care, guys.
Later, man.
Nice meeting you. Nice meeting you.
See you, man. See you, man.
Take care.
I have a question for all of you guys, if you don't mind. As somebody who's living outside of Japan, by the way, for those of you who have just come in now, I don't live in Japan. Do you think the state of emergencies that are happening right now in Japan would have happened if there had not been an Olympics in the same way? Because sometimes I feel that the states of emergencies are basically being orchestrated because of the Olympics.
So
does that make any sense? My way of thinking from
I know what you're saying.
Outsider's point of view here.
A friend of mine also had a theory about that. It's because Japan, if they could, they would cancel. But if they did, they would lose a lot of money. If the IOC canceled, then Japan is in the clear.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. And they're not.
So Japan has to play along, because if they were to cancel the Olympics, they would lose a lot of money, and the IOC won't let them. And so they're playing along, and that's why I think they're doing the national emergency partly. But it is true, we do have a lot of cases, though. I mean, today was 1979.
Yes.
But you compare that to other countries.
But
and,
you can't.
It's nothing
But
compared.
Japanese lives are more valuable than.
My question really is: do you think we're going to see other states of emergencies after the Olympics? Because that would be quite interesting.
That's interesting.
That would be very interesting. Because I think that perhaps, when the eyes of the world are no longer looking at Japan, because at the moment the world is looking at Japan because of the Olympics, and everybody's like looking at every single number, every single test, every single case, every single death that's going on in Japan because of the Olympics. Once the world doesn't care about Japan anymore because the Olympics are over, will Japan treat COVID the same way? That's
good question.
Something that I'm sort of thinking about.
Yeah. Look. There's a lot of people who all along have been very sort of cynical about this and assuming everything is like the Truman Show, like it's a big show being put on for them, and all this stuff about the COVID counts being suppressed to save the Olympics, or the state of emergency or whatnot. But the fact is, most people in Japan consistently since 2012, 80-90% of people have been against the Olympics. Nobody is interested in doing anything to save the Olympics. All the stuff about the measures from the government, as good or bad as they've been, all along has been without any regard for the Olympics. A lot of people have been speculating, this is because of the Olympics, but no one in Japan cares about that. They care much more about this. And frankly, politically, it'd be totally unacceptable if we got into another wave or another spike after the Olympics and the government just said, we're not going to do another state of emergency. No one would accept that. So no, the answer to your question is I understand why you'd think that from the outside, but my personal interpretation on the ground here is that no, that's not what's happening. Even though there are people in Japan who think that's the case.
It's because one of the things also to keep in mind is like for just a moment. One of the things to also keep in mind, Ronan, is the fact. I'm sorry, Ninja Monkey, is the fact that we shut down the first state of emergency, which was the only effective one, by the way, because we got to stay home and got paid on top of that. And people, there was actual fear that set in. And then freelancers actually got like 1 million yen or something like that. It was
they did well, right?
Yo, I basically got like 10 grand, and it was great. Yeah. Well, I mean, that shit is all gone now, but but because I wasn't working. But my point is the fact that we shut down the first time for way less of a number. It was like 500 people were getting sick.
We were shut down for like 2 months.
Yeah. For over only 500 people. So to answer your question, we would have done the state of emergency regardless. The effectiveness of these state of emergency 2 to 4, little to nothing, honestly, because it's just like, oh, a state of emergency. Oh wow, like that. So that's a little bit. That's a whole different topic. But we're gonna. I'm sure number 5 is coming. And probably number 6 until vaccinations start rolling out faster. That's all.
We're having a spike here in Europe. I mean, Gibraltar. I live in Gibraltar, British overseas territory, and basically, I think we are 95% vaccinated out of the whole population.
That's a very high number.
Double vaccinated.
Wow.
But I can tell you, but I can tell you that now we're starting to see the majority of cases are double vaccinated people.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no!
I'm sorry. What?
Mic drop.
Wait,
okay, 90%. What do you mean? So it doesn't stop you getting it. It just
no. I know it. I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't. I'm just making it clear that people think that the vaccine is a way, like an 100% way out of this.
Oh no!
But it isn't at the moment. Like we are having quite a lot of cases of double vaccinated people, and not only that, people that have had COVID have had the double vaccine and have had it and are now getting COVID.
So just to clarify, when you're saying double vaccinated, that means 2 shot, right?
Yeah, 2 shots. Yeah.
Okay, I thought some fools went around and got vaccinated from 2 different clinics.
Well,
or something.
I'm just talking like that because in the UK, actually, they've done things differently, where they're vaccinating the majority of people with 1 and then giving them the second vaccine like a lot later, like weeks and weeks later. So, but here, this is what's happening. Yes, hospitalizations have gone down. Hopefully, it will continue like that.
I saw a bizarre number. I was looking into the Delta variant.
I was going to ask you.
Because I've got the Moderna, and I thought, is this going to be good? So I looked it up. It said that in England, about 300 people or so got the Moderna or the Pfizer. They got the double shots, and they still got the Delta variant. Yeah. And 187 or 127, 87, I don't remember, but over 100 people of those 100 of those died. Which is kind of scary, but
I'm laughing at this comment. Yeah, but don't with me therapies unless you're gigavaxxed.
3 Pfizer doses, 4 Moderna doses, 2 AstraZeneca doses.
Like Thanos.
And
at the end of the day, statistically speaking, the chances of actually dying from those are pretty slim if you're double vaccinated.
Yeah, actually, a J-vlogger or a Japan content creator of ours went back to the UK back in April, I believe, and he got double vaxxed, and he got the Delta variant a few days ago. And
really?
And he's suffering hard right now. Yeah.
Jesus,
I'm sorry.
That's terrifying. Jesus.
Do you know Lin's Chunk, the photographer? Lin's Chunk?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's him. So he got the Delta variant, and I've been talking with him every day because he's suffering right now. He's like, it's hard for him to breathe. And nobody's contact. He said I was like one of the only people that actually contacted him to see how he's doing, and he just said it's horrible.
Probably because no one can spell his name. How do you spell his name? Lin Chung. I mean, how would you spell Lin Chung? I have no idea.
Lin's chunk. Lin's like a camera lens.
Oh, lens.
Yeah, like a camera lens.
I was like LYNNS.
This is super crazy to hear because look, fellow Jamaican, like I want to see my pops, right? But I can't go over there. He's actually been double vaccinated in Jamaica, but because he has this heart problem right now, we have to be really careful. But my sister, she went to the States, she got vaccinated just so she can help with my dad and all that stuff. But like I've been away all this time, and my thought was, hey, I got my little paper here. I'll get vaccinated and then I can go see him. But hearing the things with the Delta variant right now is terrifying because now it's like, look, I think I'm going there. This is my chance to see him. I haven't seen him in 2 years, but now this is a whole nother thing.
Especially their age. Over 65, even if they're double vaccinated, there's still a risk factor involved there. Like my mom was going to go to Alaska to see my sister who's living in there, and she canceled her trip because of the Delta variant.
Jeez.
Tony, where's your dad?
He's in Mandeville. Oh, Jamaica. Sorry.
Jamaica. He's in Jamaica. Okay. Yeah. No, because my parents live in Florida, and I just saw that yesterday the U.S. government sent out a "Do not travel to Florida" warning.
Oh my God.
Well, no, I mean, but that's normal.
I was about to say that's normal. That's normal.
Travel to Florida.
I think that's just a general travel advisory.
Have you guys ever done the Florida man and your birth date?
Yeah.
Hold up.
Yeah, that's why you don't go to Florida.
So I'm kind of curious because most of us are here in Japan and most of us in Tokyo, but with Corona, with this entire thing, it's been a challenge. We've been in this weird, like, it's a state of emergency, but we've been in this very passive way of countering it versus our friends in the States or in the UK, which have like legit shut down at times.
Or New Zealand
as well.
New Zealand has done a very good job, I think.
So my question is for a lot of because this is our home. Something that
and your prime minister is hot, Hiko. I just want to say that.
Very nice.
So something that the reporter that brought up today during the interview was the fact that when she was interviewing me, I just referred to myself as a foreigner, and she thought that was actually kind of interesting and a little weird that, she said that most people that have lived in another country for 10 years don't consider themselves foreigners anymore. They consider themselves part of that country. And I was like, to me, it's actually weird for you to say that because I don't think I would ever consider myself anything other than the outsider. In Japan.
Talk to Koreans of 4 or 5 generations.
Right. So, but my question
I don't want to go any further.
But my question here is for you guys, in these last 2 years, have any of you seriously thought about just going back home?
Of course.
No.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, no, okay. And why? And why? Because,
like, here's the thing, though. I don't want to go back to the States in the current state of things, post-Trump and all that stuff. Try not to get too political and everything. But, of course, I want to see family. I want to see friends, especially now that I've spent so much time apart. And this is the time that makes me kind of reflect that, hey, I would like to spend a little bit more time with them. Up until now, I hadn't felt that. I mean, I've been here like 15 years. You know what I mean? So for me to actually, for the first time, be like, yo, I kind of want to see my family a little bit right now is really, really hard for me to come to grips with. Now, Japan is still my home. This is where I couldn't start over the same way here because all my connections are here, whatnot. It's like starting from zero again. So it's like a weird catch-22. I want to spend time with loved ones, but I built this gilded cage here. You know what I mean? I got a good apartment, and everyone that in Tokyo knows how freaking hard that is. You know what I mean? Or like,
oh yes,
all that stuff. So it's just, it's weird. That's a really good question.
Yeah. And when I say go back, I'm talking about go back forever. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, packing up. Just to make that clear, no more visits. You're just like, okay, I'm done with this.
I think I'm done. I mean, I did the things. Look, I've done more than I could have ever imagined here. This place has been a wonderful place for opportunities. I found myself, like, kind of discovered who I am. You know what I mean? Through all this stuff. So,
comment.
Right.
He was coming.
Yeah.
What is it?
No, he just said if I had a microphone like Tony's, I would never leave. Like,
you're damn right. I'd never leave either.
That is a guilty cage. That audio is a guilty cage. I would.
Another question, or anybody else want to answer?
I thought about it.
Well, you know, my COVID kind of brought not that I've always been close with my parents, but with my dad especially, but with Corona, I started Skyping him every day because he was stuck. He's 82 years old. He's stuck in his apartment. So I would Skype him every single day, almost like at least 6 days a week, and I'd miss a day once in a while. And as soon as he got vaxxed, he's got his doubles. He was like out the door. He's not at home at all. I would call him. I'm out. I can't talk to you right now. I'm at a bar. I'm at a restaurant. But it really, I think it brought us closer together. So I think there's some good, there's always a silver lining.
100%.
Right. But you've never thought about going back to.
No, I mean, if my dad got cancer or something and he was on his last legs or something, I'd probably go back.
Okay.
I can. Luckily, I can afford to just say see ya if I have to. But I mean. Otherwise, I'm going to stay on this route. Yeah.
Piggles, because you when we first you gave your intro and you were telling everything, your whole thing about, from what I gathered, your whole thing about coming to Japan, coming to Tokyo was for the Olympics, right? That was a big part for you, right?
Well, when I actually found out that Tokyo is going to have the Olympics, I said this might be a big opportunity for me. I also wanted to move to Tokyo because I needed more opportunities to do music and that sort of thing. It's much easier to link with people in the bigger parts. So, I mean, I was like, yeah, this could be it. I'm like, yes, finally, the Olympics, something that I can check off the bucket list because, I couldn't go to Brazil because I just moved to Japan. I love sports, so that would have been something I would have loved to do. And you know what? Something said to me, I was going to go in a raffle. I said, you know what? I'm not going to go in a raffle. I'm not going to get a ticket for the stadium anyway. And look what happened, all those persons who have spent their money, booked travel arrangements, the airlines and the travel agencies that would have lost money because they can't collect, as a refund people because people can't get in. And I think the IOC was actually trying to pressure the Japanese government into allowing spectators in the stadium. I still think they're trying to get, because the atmosphere is going to be crazy without any spectators at all.
It's gonna. Have you guys actually seen that WWE sigil, or like that little? I'll look up the video in a second because it's pretty damn funny, because it's gonna be a preview of what the Olympics are gonna be, or even the Super Bowl. At least do some cardboard cutouts or something. Come on, Panasonic. God damn, dude. It's so weird to me.
Something.
But Pickles, you
should have allowed double vax people in.
No, they're not even doing that, which is crazy.
Absolutely nothing.
But I was thinking about this because, to be honest, I'm one of those people that literally, it wasn't until the other day that I didn't really think deeply into the vaccine. Like, I was kind of on that train of like, oh, if after I get vaxxed, then I'm somewhat invincible against the virus, because I just didn't really think about it other than that. I knew there was like a 75% ratio, but I'm like, okay, cool. But then when I kind of thought about it, I get the Japanese mentality. It's like, okay, we're just cutting everything out. We don't want any risk. Even if we let vaccinated people into the stands, there's still a 25% chance that somebody's going to catch it. And then if they catch it, then it looks even worse for us. So you know what? Nobody comes. But at least cardboard cutouts are, like I said, do like the WWE. Can I just watch it, the game from Zoom or something? Come on, man.
The Thunderdome.
I know that
go ahead.
that our personal interactions with people are not statistically relevant, but I'm interested in Honma and Lawson.
Wait, what are you going to ask me? It sounds so dodgy.
No, but no.
Actually, because you're a family man too. Because
Yeah, you're a family man.
How do you interact with people?
No, I think you have more Japanese people around you than most of
That's a
us.
good
I
point.
mean, I do too, but I'm just curious to see what you're in Tokyo and what do the Japanese people in your family and around you think. Because you work in a Japanese company, right? So you have you're talking with Japanese people all the time, right?
Yeah, so I only go to work. We're gonna watch WWE. I only go to work once a week right now, so I'm mainly working from home. So it's kind of like I'm blessed in that sense. But the people around me, like my family, my Japanese families, we're kind of on the same page. Where we kind of like we were a bit interested in the Olympics and looking forward to it, but now that it's come this far, it's kind of a bit like not really that interested.
Wait, 1 second. Sorry to cut you. Is how many Lawson? He makes those funny TikToks laughing at people when they're
that's me.
Oh, that's you! Oh, yeah. You're hilarious, bro. I can't.
Thank you.
I started like, that's familiar. I'm like, yeah, oh shit, this guy's funny.
His whole career is just laughing. It's amazing.
I wasn't holding my earphones like this.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're killing me, dog. You're killing me.
I have so many people I got to check out now.
Much love.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so again, wait, or did you finish or no?
Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, me. Oh, no, I think I finished. Yeah, we're kind of a bit like.
Oops, sorry. But there was one point where they actually pointed to an empty crowd. Oh, here we go. I got it right here. Here we go. Check this out. All right, hold on. Here we go. Check this out. So he's like, "Give me a hell yeah," his usual thing.
And just like
that,
gamer reaction stream.
A little bit of levity.
Sorry, it's in my nature. Yeah. So, all right. So, oh yeah, somebody just said hell yeah. That was depressing to watch. Yeah.
So are we gonna watch the opening ceremonies, and is this gonna be?
Basically, I guess that's how.
One guy in the crowd.
There are delegations and stuff like Jill Biden and stuff. You know, and other political figures are going to be there. So
no, Joe Biden's not coming.
No, the wife, is it Jill Biden?
Jill Biden.
Yeah, Jill Biden. Yeah.
Or Jill. Dr. Jill Biden.
Dr. Jill Biden will be there, and some other people. So I'm sure that the cameras will be zooming into some.
Does anyone know how you can watch this from overseas? The opening ceremonies. Is there a way to watch it live?
There's a lot of links.
Yeah.
Sure, every country.
I'm going to be watching it on BBC, I think.
Yeah. All the money in this is from the broadcasting rights. So every country, you're going to be bombarded with it on whatever TV you have. That's the only way the Olympics is making money anymore. So
yeah.
NBC
they make money from
will be
broadcasting,
showing
basically.
Yeah.
The only problem is in Europe, the times are just like really off, like at 3 a.m. and like 1 a.m. like different events.
I forget what time is the opening ceremony again? Japan time?
I have no idea.
It's in the evening.
I'm so ambivalent. I don't care.
9:30 p.m.
Is it not really?
That's so late.
No, that was the start of this. That was the start of this live stream.
Wait, is it really late? 9:30?
You're getting mistaken.
You have to get the fireworks.
Maybe
there are more people watching this live stream than there will be watching the opening ceremony.
Because I was calculating when I had to watch it, and it was like 2 p.m. my time. So
is it?
So it's 4 a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m.
8 p.m. It says 8 p.m.
I know Eurosports is doing a live for the Olympics because I was hired by Eurosports for a while with the first time that was coming through. So I was working for the French team. So I don't know what it would be like over there, but
so it's midday, right? So it's 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. your time.
I think
Isn't there?
8 o'clock. Yeah.
Didn't Muto say there's an 11th hour chance of canceling the Olympics?
That's right.
Yes.
Have we passed the 11th hour?
I think we.
I think we have.
11th hour doesn't really mean 11 hours.
No, someone's like going.
I mean, but honestly, I felt like that was just for show. That was honestly just for show.
Yeah.
Like it's like this stream is the official Olympic sponsor. I'll take it, man. I'll take it.
Hell yeah.
Just a bunch of foreigners drinking
No, I need to get some drinks. I'll be right back.
Depressing about the Olympics.
I've already drunk my drink. I think I might need another one.
There
I
was
got
an
too many
actual
meetings in the morning.
no-go date for canceling the Olympics. It was like in March, and they said when it came up to that date, "Oh, we don't know yet. We're going to wait until May," and they kept pushing it back until it was like 3 weeks before, and and they said, "No, it's too late now. We're going to do it." So they literally postponed it until it became inevitable. So yeah, they actually had the chance. So the idea that they're saying a day before that, we could still cancel it, it's just stupid. Yeah.
Oh, and they raised the amount of spectators like to 50%, just like the week before they decided not to have spectators.
Correct.
Which was quite crazy also. Like, why do that? And then like a week later say no.
It's reactionary. Japan
being Japan.
Yeah. Final group question I want to kind of ask you guys is, when this is all kind of said and done, when the Olympics are over, which is late August, mid-August, because we have the Paralympics.
We have the Paralympics.
Yeah, we have the Paralympics.
Paralyzed people still count here, but I don't know if the closing ceremony.
They're not all paralyzed.
I mean, closing ceremony is after Paralympics or
before?
After the main.
No,
it's like a separate.
After the main.
Yeah,
the separate.
The closing ceremony is for the main.
Cancel the closing ceremony.
Yeah. So my question is, I guess for Japan, our lives returned back to normal mid-August, I believe, and then we're left with all these variants like it's the goddamn Loki TV or something like that. Like,
August 8th, by the way. August 8th.
Yeah. Thank you. August 8th. So my question to you guys is like, what would you like to just see Japan do? Because we're obviously going to be in the thick of it with Corona. I almost guarantee it's going to be exceptionally high by August 8th. We have a 4-day weekend currently going on right now. Most Japanese people I know, they don't give two shits about the Olympics. They just want to go on a vacation.
The beach.
Yeah,
beach.
I know so many people on the beach right now, and not even vaccine. People within my age bracket are still waiting to make the appointment in Kanagawa.
That's true.
Oh yeah. It's right here. I got the whole thing.
Just pulls it out so quickly.
Yeah, because there's nothing else I can do. It's just a paperweight at this moment. I've had it for a whole month.
I feel you.
I can't do shit with it. So
are you guys
in my ward they ran out of supplies, so I can't get one. I can't get a shot until August.
Oh,
jeez.
Yeah.
So the question I want to ask you, and to answer your question, Afro, I don't really care enough to fight to find like an open clinic to every. My day is way too booked to be. I don't have time to be. Ego daijoubu desu. Okay.
Real talk.
We got this crazy black guy calling all these clinics. Just say no English.
Give him a knife and fork.
Yeah. But
give him the placebo.
Give him the sugar one. So what do you guys want to see like when we get back to normal? Is there anything you want to see Japan start focusing on, or is there any improvements or what are you guys looking kind of hoping for, I guess?
What do you mean by normal?
Right.
Very good question.
Reduction in taxes.
Nothing will change.
Right. I because this has kind of been a weight over our heads for like 2 years now, or more for some people. So I don't even know what normal is anymore. Kind of.
That's
but
true.
Is there anything that you guys are hoping for, or
I hope they let me in. When things come back to normal.
Don't send them this video link.
If I go to America for Christmas, I don't know if I will have to do a 14-day self what's it called? The quarantine
isolation.
Right. So I mean that's screwed. I can't even make plans for that. So I hope at least that they get that sorted.
The vaccine passport.
The vaccine passport and the I'm going to be
short-term quarantine.
I've already got one vaccination. I'll get the next one in 2 weeks. I'll be done. And my wife too. But I think we got 2 kids. If we go to Florida, which is health state, we come back to Japan. Are they going to make us stay in our house? Because we can't do that. if that's the case, then my wife can't afford. She works and I work. I can't afford to stay home and take care of the kids for 2 weeks. So that's one thing. But I don't think Japan's reputation will be ruined, though. I think a lot of people on Twitter were like, I saw some posts that had like thousands of retweets. If Japan goes through with this, Japan's reputation will be ruined forever. I'm like, no. Nobody's gonna care by September.
They'll watch an episode of JoJo's and they'll be right back on the Japan thing.
Yeah. It's like the Rio Olympics was supposed to be very scandal ridden, and people were worried about all the pollution and the Zika virus. But now, who remembers it? Yeah.
Brazil, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. So there's nobody really has any sort of expectations of anything right now.
I kind of feel that Japan sort of levels itself out. Like we're entering like a new normal, so to speak. So it would be good if Japan actually try to set up systems in place that actually work, not only for like foreigners, but like literally everyone in Japan. As Victor was saying, like we can't leave. We don't know if we can leave the country and come back again. Whereas during like when the pandemic was the worst, where Japanese people leaving the country and just sort of flowing back in, bringing in a lot of the time, like
oh yes,
so like a smidgen of fairness would be nice in the situation, like a drop.
No, nah, I don't expect.
Just so we know we stand.
I would hope. True. I was hoping that Japan would actually fear the coronavirus more than they fear foreigners, but that's not going to happen. I really was hoping that we would have better discourse in terms of how they view us as foreigners and our actual impact. I think a lot of Japanese people think foreigners are getting a free ride here in Japan because when I tell them I pay taxes, they're like, huh? You're a guest. I said, well, guests don't pay for shit. Sorry for going over there. Guests are supposed to, if you're giving us a privilege to come here as a guest, then there's certain amenities that should be afforded to us. But we pay taxes just like you. So I can talk all the shit I want to talk about Japan because I only thing I can is vote, but I can talk because I pay my taxes and health insurance.
And ward tax.
Right. And if you're a business owner, you're paying even more on top of that.
That too. Living tax, residential tax. Oh my
God. Actually, my gym's
English in Japan tax.
My gym's still open.
Let it all out, Pickles.
And actually, like someone at the gym said, they were like, oh, like there are more and more foreigners entering the country because of the Olympics. And they were like, oh yeah, foreigners are really scary. Like, oh, I don't know what they're bringing in here. Oh, it's so terrifying. And I'm like standing there listening to these two women talk, and I'm like,
come up to them like, hi. So how's it going?
Maybe they didn't notice you.
Hi, foreigner.
Right.
That was my worry as a foreigner.
I have brought. You should have just murdered them on the spot and just proved their point.
The majority in these situations, I think most of the time they're like, "Oh, this foreigner doesn't speak Japanese, and thus we can speak Japanese openly."
Yeah, right. I love that.
Oh, I love that.
It's my bread and butter, dude. It's my everything. It's fun to it's fun to jump in with a "gaijin koi da ne, koi na," and watch them be like.
What?
They're like, this guy. I'm like, no.
Because you got him. You got him. That's the best part.
A few days ago, there was why
does Akasan look like Thanos on the throne right now? He's just like,
I am inevitable. Yeah. So a few days ago, I freaked out this one. What's up, Asagi? Let me throw you in if you want to jump in real quick. Come on in. I'll send you an invite. So let me tell my story. So, and actually, it's kind of a good segue to go right into a Japanese perspective of this, because that's one of the things I really wanted to do was get
Japanese person's perspective. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
What? A Japanese perspective at this time?
Hold on, I'm bringing up.
Good.
Invite her real quick. So anyways, I was on my way to the I was at Musashi Kosugi, getting ready to go to work. I had my shades on, right? And there's a woman all decked out, small Japanese woman, had to be in their late 20s or so. Mask, face shield, goggles, wearing all like a white
full on.
Yeah, full on protection, right? And as you guys, most of you guys know, there's the whole byline area when you're on the platform. Not a lot of room, right? So if you're going somewhere, you got to go straight this way, right? So she's kind of in my walkway, right? And I didn't realize there was such a problem until I'm just walking, and she just starts doing the. I'm not even fucking paying attention. I'm just like, and when I notice, I get that. I swear to God, I'm 8 meters away from her.
Got a cough in her mouth,
and I can feel it. And I'm just like, 100%. Okay. And I just walk the other way, and she stops, so it's obvious. And then she just is kind of looking at me the whole time, mean mugging me. She is legit mean mugging me, right? Now,
who's this nigga?
And she waits until I get on the goddamn train and to take off. And she's looking at me the entire time. Now, to be fair, like, yeah, I could have coughed on her. I'd be like, "What, motherfucker?" But no,
you just look back. You just stare back. It's so fun.
Just stop and look, right?
That's what I do.
To be fair, I had my hair was down. I was wearing a tank top. It was over 30 degrees Celsius out here, so sweat everywhere, glasses on, and I was adjusting my mask like this. So I'm making a
You look like a character from The Matrix.
Right, I look like I was about to choke her out or something like that. So I can also. Part of me can also understand that fear, right? So I don't know, but I feel like she's been watching a little too much of the news there. So I thought that was quite interesting. Yeah,
and you should have just murdered her on the spot just to prove it.
Is that what we do here?
Yes, I'm just saying.
Tell you got a cough in her mouth.
What was that?
Hiko.
Cough in her mouth. Give her a hug.
Yes.
Hey,
what?
On what happens after the Olympics thing, just one thing. A lot of people talking about like what it's like still being a foreigner in Japan and standing out and the acceptance and you know, how is everything going to change after the Olympics? One thing I love about the Olympics and that I think is really going to be positive about this is that you know, you talk about how Japan is getting used to being more diverse and more accepting of diversity. I think the Olympics and sports is probably the area most dragging Japan forward in that respect. If you look at the rock stars of the Japan Olympic team, you know, you think you have Rui Hachimura coming back, you know, to carry the flag in the opening ceremony. You think about the track and field athletes. How many of them are born and raised in Japan, totally Japanese, but they have names that don't sound like traditional Japanese names, and they don't look like Japanese, you know, traditional Japanese people. But yeah, these are people who are pure Japanese. Yeah, and they are like, and people and kids are saying, "Oh, I want to be, you know, like
that person."
Yeah, like those people and so on, and what great role models they are for the other people, and for fostering acceptance of, you know, people not needing to look a certain way to be accepted as Japanese. So I think in terms of the acceptance of more multiculturalism in Japan, I actually am optimistic that the Olympics are one of the most positive things you can actually possibly have for that. And I think that's going to be what I hope is one of the best outcomes of this.
Well said.
Wow, that was so sweet.
That was
I agree 100%.
Now, how much are you getting paid by the IOC on that?
Not enough.
Closing ceremonies by Hiko. All right, guys. So we're gonna have one special guest here that we talked earlier today. I want to take the time to introduce to you Asagi-san.
Oh, good.
Asagi-san over here. She's a YouTuber.
Hey.
She's a YouTuber herself. Oops. So sorry, that was Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold is in the stream. Yeah.
So if you guys aren't familiar, make sure you check out Asagi's YouTube channel. We'll go ahead and link it a little bit later. She's mainly very popular for doing Japanese reactions, as a lot of you guys already know. I do reactions, but Asagi is doing Japanese reactions and giving a Japanese perspective on a lot of pop culture situations. And in this particular case, Asagi, what is your opinion as are you from Tokyo? Or Osaka, I don't remember.
No, I'm from Chiba, and I live in
Chiba.
Chiba.
Okay.
Yeah.
Represent Chiba, Chiba, hoo, Chiba.
Yeah.
The 4th New Jersey of Japan.
New Jersey.
What part of Chiba are you from?
I don't think we need to know. It's all good.
No, I don't mean that.
Around Disneyland. Yeah. So Asagi, what is your what's your impression in general about the Olympics and the, I guess, international perspective from someone as a Japanese native on the inside looking outside in some sense? What's your take on all of this?
Well, I don't think it's so different from your opinion because we all live in Japan, but I'm totally against this Olympic. I was very excited when they decided to have Olympic in Tokyo again, but yeah, in this 1 year or two, the reputation is going really down, and then I mean, I really don't get why they are still having Olympic. I mean, IOC still try to have Olympics. I mean, probably for money, but why do we have to sacrifice many stuff in Japan to have Olympic?
What do you feel?
And
What do you personally
money?
feel? What do you personally feel that they're sacrificing, though?
Mostly our health, life.
Okay.
Because many foreign visitors are entering Japan right now, and Olympic bubble is probably already broken. And then, don't you see many foreign people in Tokyo lately? I don't think they have strict restriction and then going outside. I suspect, and then maybe they are getting vaccinated. They already got vaccinated, but the thing is, we still haven't. So
I see.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the biggest problem with Corona are the people coming in to Japan, or the people that are in Japan already? Because I would argue that actually we as people living in Japan are a bigger threat to getting the Olympians sick than the other way around. I personally think.
That's also true. But I don't know.
And the Olympians are tested daily, like multiple times, and like they're really like focusing on looking at the health of each athlete and people that work for the Olympics. So yes, the bubble is probably broken, but hopefully some sort of contact tracing will reduce, like the problem of COVID actually spreading to the rest of the population. I don't know if that will actually happen. What do you guys think?
I actually have a small opinion about that, actually, because I have to go out on the street just because of work. Actually, I haven't been out that much, but when I'm on location and stuff like that, the most people I see on the street aren't actually foreigners. You know what I mean? Like the people I see, like I'm going in between locations, and then the people I see out having drinks, just being out there in the street are generally younger Japanese people, as opposed to. So it was kind of shocking to me in a way, because I'd been I've been really good about restricting my exposure to outside and whatnot. I would, of course, every once in a while I would have to leave because of work, but even then we're all masked up. We're dousing ourselves with disinfectant. But I was really surprised to see, like, I'm doing all these things, but it seems like so many other people are just having business as usual. And that was, for me, was really shocking. But it's really interesting to hear your perspective as well. Because I didn't think about what it might look from a Japanese perspective. So really interesting.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, the other thing I was going to just point out, going off of Tony's thing, is like, so we are in record highs right now of infected. But if you actually look, I think it was Hiko that pointed it out, or somebody else that pointed it out, is if you look at it, it's the age range of 20s and 30s that have basically shot up, and it's like 60% of that rise, and that would essentially make sense. You know, I'm connected to a lot of IRL Twitch streamers, and so I'm watching them every night in Shinjuku, in Shibuya, on the streets. Okay, so they closed down the bars. That's fine. We'll just go to Lawson and stand outside and drink. So, you know, I think that's a mix of both foreign and younger Japanese that are doing that.
A lot of those younger Japanese, though, they're forced to still go to the office, unlike their older counterparts.
Yeah.
So there is that to defend some of the 20-year-olds, such as. Yeah,
that's a good point. I mean, yeah, and you know, also something to keep in mind is like, you know, a lot of us, well, especially myself, you know, I've already done all of that, so I'm fine with just chilling at home every night. But when you're like 20, like staying at home is like a death sentence. Like to not have a social
come on,
life.
Akasan, you're 29.
Like what, you know, why did you come to Japan in the beginning? So on that perspective, I also understand it's like, you know, why I didn't come to Japan just to sit at home all day if I was young, you know, and single. So, which I am neither of those two anymore. So
you also have to think about it too. Like sometimes that living arrangements are very small, so that affects a lot of it too.
Yeah, very true. People have killed themselves a lot over the stay-at-home situation.
Yeah.
There's a famous pro wrestler that killed herself.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Has anyone been to Shibuya at like midnight recently?
Almost every other day.
Is it not just terrible. Crazy? I was there the other day. So I was going to my friend's house to watch the England football match. And then like I went on the last train and it was just like so many wasted people on the street, like paralytic. And they're like zombies.
Wow.
Like I was like, what the fuck? It's like a club outside.
It's crazy.
You're like dodging these people. It's like who are just like.
Well, it's been over a year. I think a lot of people just given up.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think one of the biggest things, and I'm kind of curious about this, Asagi, on your perspective, the Japanese side, because I feel like with my students, one student told me a few days ago, he was just like, look, I don't even care anymore because the Japanese government, they don't care about our lives. And I feel like the biggest drive of why the state of emergencies don't work anymore is because of the fact that you can't say, stay home, it's a state of emergency, stay home, distance yourself, and at the same time be like, hey, get ready for the Tokyo Olympics, let's go, you know, all these foreigners, come on in. Like, you know, you can't have it both ways like that. And it's so Japanese people, I believe, have basically been like, okay, so it's not that serious. If it was that serious, you would have canceled the Olympics. But you can't have it both ways. And I think that's why we're seeing more more Japanese people going out now, going to the beach, and it's hot too. We've most of this year and last, we were good little boys and girls staying at home. But at this point, it's kind of like when they announced that fourth state of emergency, the funniest thing I saw was like, you know, acts like surprised, like the meme going around, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Asagi, just on a Japanese perspective, would you say that's about right? Is like, that's your feeling about it? Is like, do you take the state of emergency seriously?
Well, yeah, it's definitely, there is a big gap having Olympic and having state of emergency at the same time, and a lot of people, kind of stopped caring about those restrictions anymore. I mean, adults still behave pretty well, I think. Not as much as the first SOE, but
yes.
But like somebody said, it must be really hard for younger generations to stay just home and trapped inside the house, and then they don't really do much things other than hurting businesses, like small businesses, small izakayas, bars,
Right.
restaurants.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think not so many people care about this time SOE.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Akasan, there's something that's interesting, and I don't know what the answer is, but you should note that while Tokyo had 1,979 cases today, Nagoya, which is the fourth largest city, much smaller than Tokyo, but we only had 109, I think.
Okay.
So I mean,
but there's nothing to do in Nagoya.
Someone's boasting.
right? No.
Shots fired.
But you got to answer the question: why is that other cities are doing much better? And one reason is a lot of young people move to Tokyo. Tokyo's exciting, right? It's like New York City, right? So young people move there, but then they get bored. But other parts of Japan are not doing so badly.
That is
right, but I would say that's just as simple as per capita, basically. That's my thought process.
Yeah, but 109 in 2000 it's not that different. The population is not actually that different.
Yeah, you're right.
It's 3 million to 12 million at most, you know. So.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take the chance real quick because I think we're probably almost at that time, anyways, right, Victor?
Yeah.
If you guys want to ask a Japanese girl some questions real quick, we'll run through this real quick. Yeah. Do it right now. We're gonna just burn through these questions, or if you guys want to ask any of us J vloggers or just people and humans, if you have any quick questions, we'll just burn through these really quickly. We'll have a question per person or something like that. I don't know, but go ahead. Definitely, if you want to know what Asagi thinks about something, go ahead and ask real quick. What is this? Have they said anything about opening to let? Nope. No, they haven't said shit. No, the closest thing that they've said so far is the fact that they're in the beginnings of talking about processing the vaccine passports. So it's going to be a while.
But that passport is only for Japanese people, not for foreigners.
What?
Yeah.
The other day they announced
Yes.
promoting Poland, Italy, Turkey. There's like 5 countries they've named that they're already going to reopen travel based on vaccine passports.
Only entry for Japanese people, not the other way around.
No, it's mutual. With the 5 countries, it's mutual.
No, it isn't mutual. It isn't. I'm pretty sure it isn't.
Oh, it's a showdown of opinions here.
We gotta do some research. We got homework.
I was reading about it this morning, and at the moment, it just seems to be one way. Like these countries are accepting the Japanese vaccine passports, but Japan is basically saying no at the moment. No, sorry.
Right. Of course.
Wow.
All right.
I have a question for Asagi. What about the 1964 Olympics? What? They had to go back in time.
Where were you in 1964?
I didn't live.
What?
I wasn't born.
Alive.
What do you think? Like your impression, the 1964 Olympics on Japan.
Imagine that's Ronan Day's pickup line.
No.
Is
everybody in this room was born then? Actually,
yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
none of us had been born then.
Actually, one of my students is a 74-year-old leukemia patient who was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna come to English class because I only got 4 years to live, so whatever. Yeah, but he told me about the Olympics is like, he gave his opinion and he was like, look, like it's very similar actually. Like people didn't want the Olympics around that time because I think it was post-war time, but it gave hope to Tokyo. Yeah. He said it was a very transformative thing that helped Tokyo become what it is today. The Shinkansen, as far as I recall, the whole reason we have the Shinkansen today is because of the Olympics.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, not a lot of people know that. Yeah.
When the Olympics was decided in 1959, that was a huge decision because it had only been about 13 years after World War II and the destruction that had followed in World War II. And so it was a huge thing and I think it really pushed, Japan, Tokyo forward.
Well, apparently not this time.
That's the irony. that's the irony. It's like almost the opposite. Like the 1964 Olympics really put Tokyo, Japan, into the forefront.
The situations were
this one is cursed.
No, of course,
okay.
like
make things better for tourists in the long run. I mean, all the infrastructure, everything that's been done in Tokyo for tourists, even though tourists aren't, can't go and see the Olympics in the future. Once tourists are allowed in, there's a lot more signage in English.
Let's hope people have money by then.
Crazy.
Good point.
In my circles and in my bubbles, like the majority of people who message me and talk to me about traveling to Japan were saying, "I want to go to Japan before or after the Olympics, not during."
It makes sense. Yeah,
who lived in London, who were living there during the Olympics. It was horrible. It was awful. Like you couldn't do anything. Everywhere was full. Everyone was packed. It was dreadful. But after the Olympics, fantastic. Went back to normal. Nice streets were cleaner. Like the systems were in place for the Olympics. We could still use them after the Olympics. It was great. I feel like Tokyo will have the same thing. Like it'll be easier for foreigners to get around Japan.
For sure.
The infrastructure should improve.
Yeah. And even the language, like as somebody who travels to Japan or used to travel to Japan 2-3 times a year as a traveler, I started traveling in 2014, and every year more and more people in Tokyo wanted to speak English, wanted to practice their English with me. So I have seen a lot. Maybe I don't want to say a lot more, but definitely there's been an increase in English speaking in Tokyo, especially in Tokyo.
Yeah. There are times where I do not want to speak English and I am forced to speak English.
Yeah.
No, sir, we're doing this in English whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
so,
basically, yeah.
All right, so we're going to we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up, but I have one guest statement, I guess, from our friends. Some of you guys might know of them. Rachel and June, very huge YouTubers. 2.6 million subscribers, whatever. I'm sorry, it's
a lot of people.
It's
been a long day. It's been a long day.
Very dominant J vlogging for the longest time.
Power couple.
Yeah, very power couple.
A lot of cats.
American and Japanese interracial couple here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just read a statement that Rachel and June sent me about 2 minutes ago. And on their thoughts of this situation. So.
Message from the president.
All right. So, every time I walk by merchandise or a sticker on a window in a shop. Oh, and I'm sorry, I should mention that they live in Fukuoka now.
That's a big point, I think.
Yeah. I need to make that clear. They used to live in Nagoya, and now they live in Fukuoka.
Good run.
Every time I walk by merchandise or a sticker on a window in a shop that says Tokyo 2020, I feel sad. I think about the planning, the hopes, the money that businesses and even cities spend to advertise. Counting on extra traffic from the Olympics, only for it all to turn out like this. So many places have closed this past year here in Fukuoka. I think of all those people who managed to achieve their dream of owning their own business and then losing it because of this pandemic. I don't want the Olympics to fail. As bad as an idea as it is during the pandemic, and as awfully as it has been managed, the harder it fails, the bigger the cost in every sense of the word. That's going to fall on all of us. And there you go.
Yes, very good.
Well said.
So I thank you for that.
Well said.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel and June, for answering my request here. And a quick rapid fire question: where do you want to go when you travel? Where and when do you want to travel outside of Japan? I don't know. Like, I just want to visit
family.
home. Yeah, visit family for me.
As he pops.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much
family.
It.
Jamaica.
Yeah, family. That's
eat some barbecue too.
Yeah. ASMR. I don't think this is really the right chat for this particular time, but another time, I'm sure somebody will ask.
5 minutes.
I don't know. Asagi, how long did it take? No. All right, guys. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. We're going to call it here. This has been quite a very culturally expanding.
Thanks, Akasan. This was Akasan's idea that he came up with.
Yes, Ronan, you want to talk about the other Olympics?
I just want to say, I just want to leave with an anecdote from the 1964. 1964 Olympics to kind of bring it all together.
I was about 4 years old then.
I was carrying the torch.
Now, it is a coincidence that everyone that competed in the first Olympics is dead. Think about that.
Fair enough.
No, but what I was going to say, the 1964 Olympics, and what I was going to say about the Japanese spirit. The Japanese spirit. In one of the track and fields, a Sri Lankan track and field runner came in, finished the race 2 laps behind the winner. So clearly had lost. But the Japanese audience stood up and gave him a standing ovation. And that was to show, like, of course he lost, but it wasn't about that. No. But that's the Japanese spirit. It's not about winning. It's not about losing. It's the fact that the Sri Lankan runner did not give up. It was, they were applauding his effort. So if anything we could say about this Olympic is we should applaud the effort that is being done. We don't know what's going to happen. We have 2 weeks to go, 4 weeks to go. But we should applaud the effort of trying. Just like the 1964 just like the 1964 audience applauded that Sri Lankan runner.
So Japan is the Sri Lankan runner.
There you go. I'll just give you that applause. Right there. Let's there you go. There you go. All right, thank you. All right, guys, let's go ahead and really quickly make sure you guys check out Asagi Life No BS Japan. You can go ahead and check out her reactions and
does Tony have a channel?
Sort of
yes, I do. Sketchflix. Also, I'm on Doki Doki drawing as well. I'm a ghost content creator for a lot of people, so I'm always around.
Your videos include your voice.
For you,
I'm loading it up right now. Cool. All right, next. Pickles? You got a channel? Yeah.
I don't.
Right?
Do I have a channel? Yeah. So my channel, my channel, Pickles the Gaijin, as it says there. I make content about Japan and my wonderful experiences here. Yeah.
All right, he has some intro that's playing some weird ass music. Okay, sorry. Okay, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So you guys can check that out. That's Pickles' channel. Afro, where your Instagram or
Instagram Afro Japan. Started YouTube Afro Japan, no space. You'll find me there as well. So yeah, guys, we'll hang out.
Yeah, you can check out Afro in Japan as well. You're part of we can say, right? You're part of Tokyo Creative.
Yeah,
right?
I work for Tokyo Creative.
Yeah, so you can check them out. I need to join that because they don't have any black people on that team besides Afro.
Word.
I'm just saying. I would love to be in those YouTube. You guys are all cool, but I would love to be in some of those big creator parties with the the big dogs there.
Hey, you're too cool, man.
Appreciate that. Hiko Simon.
Yeah. I'm me. I have nothing better to do. I just throw peanuts and reviews, and I'm all out of peanuts. I have a Twitter. I have a YouTube channel. It's the same as a handle below. And thanks for having me.
Now, if you really want to get a lot of information about what's going on in Japan daily, make sure you check out Hiko Simon's Twitter specifically because he's reporting on everything that's going on at the moment in Japan.
Yes,
Ronan.
Oh, yeah. If you like Japanese festivals, check out my channel. Same name as below there.
Yeah, I'm trying to find you guys as fast as I can for LinkedIn. But it's so hard.
I linked everybody on Twitter on that. You can check that later, and I'll add everybody below in the description.
Yeah, for sure. Ninja Monkey guy, YouTube. I'm riding the wave of COVID basically because I do weekly roundups of what's going on in terms of Japan reopening for tourists. So
As soon as COVID is over, my channel will be dead.
Ninja Monkey's channel.
Oh, so you got about 6 good years then.
He's doing it.
No, I think COVID really helped your channel.
Oh yeah, it has.
The views really skyrocketed.
We should a little bit. But we'll see what happens. What will happen anyway? I'm trying to do other things, so
Pivot, brother, pivot.
What? Okay, and Homani Lawson.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. My name is Hominy Lawson with no space. I like to laugh.
Yes.
All right.
I guess
This is the
we all
first
do.
time
I
I've
think
heard him say a complete sentence.
Yeah.
TikTok is completely laughing. It's genius. It's amazing. All he does is laugh the whole time.
Yeah, and I think we can all use a little bit of laughter recently, so that's very important. And of course, Victor, you can plug your own channel.
Oh, no.
We're all on this now.
I'm these days. I'm just a doting father. Just enjoying my time with my kids. Basically, yeah. But I'm hoping to bring back this channel, a little bit more, get more active. And yeah, I'm on Instagram and Twitter as well, but not nearly as much as these guys here. But thanks a lot for the idea, Akasan. I'm glad you could use the channel. I don't mind losing subscribers. If anyone wants to unsub, this is your chance.
Oh my God.
Oh,
go
well.
for it. Sub.
Very
Your haters will never
Thumbs
do
up,
that.
sub to Asagi, sub to Pickles the guy, Tony. He's a new guy. Beautiful voice. You know, all these
God
guys.
bless you,
Check
sir.
them out. Unsub for me and sub one of these guys. I got no problem with that.
No, but
And
I want to say
guys-
in reverse, thank you guys for doing this. This is amazing. It's good to get some new perspective from so many different people. So seriously, thank you guys. I'm honored to be a small part of this. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
This
Good to meet you, man.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Likewise.
I could all
meet
all
all
you
of you.
people on Victor's channel, please subscribe to mine right now. I could definitely use it.
No,
my channel, yeah.
mine.
Unsub.
Yeah, please
Go
subscribe
ahead.
to my
Make my
YouTube
day.
channel. I
Sub to
definitely
these
need
guys.
it.
Okay.
I'm on Twitch a little more frequently, mainly doing video games and talking shit about
The Flash.
see, Asagi's the nice reactor. Asagi's the very nice reactor. I'm a little too honest, and I get a lot of hate over it. I'm like, that was garbage, like that. So I'm the dysfunctional reactor. So please subscribe because more people unsubscribe. Anyways, so yeah, guys. So again, if any of you guys are free, please come on over. I'll be watching the opening ceremony alone. But
I'll be watching.
Yeah,
I'd come if I could.
all right, and hopefully we
Okay,
can all
everybody
get
go to Akasan, please.
yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah.
Super spreader event.
Yeah.
Right.
And hopefully, if after the Olympics is all over, let's try to get together and kind of give a good recap of how we felt about it.
That's
you
a
know,
good idea.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
because I think a lot of us are kind of hesitant. I think half of us were interested in watching it, and I think the other half just didn't care from the beginning. And I think that's pretty. Yeah, exactly. I think that's pretty good. Especially if your country kind of sucks in the Olympics. So.
Was that New Zealand? Is that New Zealand?
Yeah. Anyways, I want to thank all of you guys for hanging out with all of us, and thank you so much. Here, we'll just do a big screen. No, I shouldn't. Buy a side. There you go. All right, guys. So we are all out of here. Thank you so much. Love, peace, chicken grease, and be safe out there. That's the most important thing. We'll talk to you on the next one.
Get vaccinated.
Yes.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Or not.
That was fun.
Oh, are we no longer live?
I guess we're not.
Damn